Okay, thank you. So, a couple of things. This will be the second balancing chemical equation, as I did one yesterday with polyatomic ion. Now today for this one, there is no polyatomic ion, but it is a little bit more complicated. Now, a couple of things. Yesterday, when I said about polyatomic ions, I said you scan through the whole equation. If there is any polyatomic ion that shows up on both places that it doesn't look like it got broken down or made up, then you keep it as is. Yesterday, I also said something about unique items, okay? Today, you will actually see some of those. So, when I'm saying unique items, I am saying something like, oh, do you see carbon happening more than one place on the left and more than one place on the right, okay? If it is something that only shows on one place per side, you do those first, okay? You sort those ones out first. So in this case, if you look, carbon only happens here on the left, and carbon only happens here on the right. So you should do that first, okay? Hydrogen, also the same thing, okay? Hydrogen only happens here, and it only happens here. So you should do those first. Things that shows up more than one place on each side, like oxygen, oxygen is everywhere. You do that at the very end. Because if you wait till those, usually if you sort through those first, this will be a lot easier to do, okay? So, do the unique items first. Okay? So, you have here, left side, right side. So let's look at carbon. How many carbon do we have on the left? 4. How many carbon do I have here on the right? Just 1. So in this case, I will put a 4 in front of this carbon. So right now, my carbon looks balanced. Okay? Hydrogen. Hydrogen. I have how many hydrogen on the side? 7. How many hydrogen do I have this side? 2. So the easiest thing to do in this case is just give a 7 to this to this H2O. So in this case you have 14, and give a 2 to this C4H7O. So now your hydrogen is balanced, but what do we see here? That's a problem. What do we see here? That's a problem. Yes?
Carbon's off balance.
Carbon is off balance now, because right now, you put a big 2 in front of the C4H7O, means you actually have 8 carbon on the left-hand side. So what you need to do, you have to go back here, and instead of a 4, I'll probably need an 8. Okay? So now I have 8 carbon on the left, I have 8 carbon on the right. Are we good? Now, oxygen, and this is the tricky / messy part. Oxygen, I have 2 oxygen from here, plus an O2, right now it's just 1. On here, oxygen, I have 8 times 2 is 16, plus 7 plus times 1 is 7, so I have 23 oxygen. Just double checking, and that looks correct, right? Now, this is a weird thing. Like, okay, so what do I do? Like, oxygen on this side, I could play around different numbers, and here I have 23. At this point, what you should do is this. You don't want to change this 2 in front of C4H7O, because if you do that, then you have to rebalance every single thing, and that would be a mess. It would be easiest if you think about what you can put in front of this O2 to help you balance that out. Are we good so far? Now, in this case, if we're not changing this big 2 in front, It means here I have to have something here times 2. That will give me, now since there's 2 that's taken care of, now I have to have 2 times something that will give me 21 oxygen. Right? Because I'm not moving this 2. So yes, there's 23 total, but since I taken care of those 2, I just need to balance it out to 21. Do you guys follow so far? So in this case, this is what I call a cheat. You don't really have a whole number that you can put in front here that will give you 21, right? Because it's an odd number. So what you do is this. You put 21 over 2. Because 21 over 2 times 2, that will give you 21, right? We're not done. So some of you guys are like, what the heck? We're not done. So right now, if you actually do the math, you have 2 oxygen, you have 21 oxygen, you have a total of 23 on this side. And here I have 16 plus 7, that also gives me 23. Did I do anything math that is wrong? Now, are we allowed to have a fraction or decimal for a coefficient? No. But what would be one easy way to get rid of this over 2? Times everything by 2. So in this case, this will give me 4 times this by 2, that will give me just 21, times this by 2, that will give me 16, times this by 2, that gives me 14. Okay? So in this case, this equation, I'm showing you 2 different things. One thing is unique item first, and number 2, if you really need to, you're kind of stuck with like some kind of, I need an odd number, but this is an O2, use a fraction and then multiply everything else by the denominator. Okay? Use fraction, then multiply the entire equation. So yesterday, if you look at your homework, your answer was what, 27? Like you have like some really big number, you have a 27 over here. You can solve the same problem by using this same method. Okay? So that's why I want you guys to do this one today, just to see whether you understand how you do that. Any questions?